Hello, folks. It's been a while. That's right. It's been so long. It's been so long. So what has happened recently? Why haven't I been making these videos? Well, I have been making them. I just haven't been uploading them. But one thing that I am going to do is we're going to kind of catch up on that. So Prepatch hits tomorrow, but there's nothing really new coming tomorrow. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, boot all the systems. Yeah, listen, I can't play a system. At most, I'm going to spend I'm going to make some crazy fucking loadouts. A lot of people, you're going to be worried. You're going to be thinking, I need to find the best talent setup for my character. I need to find the best arcane mage tree for my character. And the answer is, there's not really a best right now. I mean, pre-patch, we're playing with incomplete trees. We're missing 10 points, 5 points from each tree. Fuck around with shit, man. Like, you can't double up stuff, so I can't double up my 35% haste increase from my legendary, along with 35% haste increase from the talent, so I might as well just not worry about it. There are plenty of different sites that are like, listen, you can play whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It's pre-patch. Have fun. Oh, I love my dog. He's calmed down now. I personally am going to be doing that. I'm going to be playing Venthyr on my monk, because Venthyr for Windwalkers has been garbage all expansion. So I'm going to have a little fun playing that on my monk. I'm not going to worry too much about doing insane damage or anything, because everything's going to be broken. 3 weeks from now, we actually get all of the content, so we get to play that pre-expansion event, which may or may not have increased rewards. Honestly, I'm okay with the 252 item level stuff they gave. I do think that it should take a bit longer to knock down the shield, maybe be like, oh hey, in 5 minutes the shield goes down or something, instead of all you have to do is kill 100 mobs. You can kill 100 mobs in, like, less than 2 minutes. Ideally, at least those mobs weren't very good. If you have like more than 2 people in a zone, come on, that's not going to last very long. And the boss, their HP was bad, but I mean, besides all the bugs, because we do have some people saying, well, they ended the test early because the event was dog shit. And that's not true. They ended the test early, mainly because cat's chilling out. Mainly because there was a bunch of bugs. Like, you can even check in the dungeon. Things weren't scaling all the time. A lot of the times you'd find it stuck at scaling for level 70, which you couldn't kill at level 60. Then you had the talent issues, the UI issues. Dog, what's up? The intro quest line wasn't working, so they just shut off the test. And some people, oh, well, the starter gear, it's a good, it might be a placeholder, but it's a bad placeholder. The placeholder gear could be item level 400. If it's a placeholder, it doesn't matter. So what we essentially have now is 3 weeks. We get the UI changes. We get the talent changes. We get group loot in all raids, and all the raids become faded. Which is good, because that means that you can do a bunch of faded LFR and, get your dinars on everybody. And I have also made the choice about what is going to be my alt, my main alt in Dragonflight. So we're going to go check that out. And it's going to be a really quick discussion, right? Like, I've already made my choice, and I did record a video going through the stuff. But if I upload that now, it just won't be in line with the rest of the non-content that I put in my videos. Sorry. So, one of the first things you might notice is I do have a level 60 mage now. I did finally use my my boost. I did finally use my boost. And I boosted my mage. And we're going to talk about why I boosted my mage. My mage is going to be my first ult, right? So I'm going to obviously level my monk. I'm probably going to go Void Elf or Human on my monk. I can't stand the little dudes. They don't look good. Yeah, this racial is great, but so I'm just going to stick with monk. I'm probably going to start off. He's going to be a mining herbalist really early off the bat. And then after I hit level cap, I'm going to probably swap it over to Inscription. And then for Jintara, my mage, I'm probably going to have her as an enchanting tailor, simply because you can level that up really quick. You can get enough stuff for the bags really quick. It's going to be great. Now, why mage over any of the other ones? Well, I've wanted to play ranged, right? I've wanted to play ranged. Well, we have some choices with that. We've got my shaman, we've got a hunter, we've got a priest, a warlock, and even a druid. Well, we also have Evoker, but I'm not going to play Evoker. I've tried it on beta. I just don't like the playstyle. So with Tinkerballa and the whole hunter aspect, I don't really feel like hunter is very fun for me. I don't like pet classes for one, so that kind of throws the hunter and at least one spec of warlock out the window. I also don't like the whole like playing around shard generation and everything with the warlock, and the fact that one of the specs is a pet spec. It's just I only really enjoy Destro, and Destro's probably not going to be number one. Shadow Priest is great, and it does have access to Disc and Holy, but they're having so many problems with Shadow, and they're like, listen, we will be severely updating this spec. However, it won't be done in time for launch. It'll probably be around the first patch. So I'm not feeling like playing an incomplete spec. Shaman does have ranged. It also has melee, and it also has heals. The problem with Shaman is, after testing it out, the playstyle in Dragonflight isn't much different than the playstyle that we have now, which it's not really something that I can get into. I like Elemental right now. I do. Elemental right now is very fun, but I don't think I could commit to it. So really we're left with mage. Now you might say, well, the specs play really differently. What if you don't like one of the three specs? Is that how you're going to judge all the range classes? The answer would be kind of, if I didn't like all three of the ranged specs on mage. Like, druid balance is okay, and they do have access to tanks and heals and even melee and laser bear, but it's just, I can't get into balance, man. I can't like the playstyle. I can't force myself to like it. So we get into mage, and I did test the mage out on beta a lot. I tested out the fire starter build. I tested out the frost starter build. I tested out the arcane starter build. All of these are really fun, and the fact that arcane mage plays so differently as compared to what we have now. And you might be like, it doesn't play that differently. To me, it does, right? Because you're not really focused on like having to conserve mana as much. Like, you're able to burst, pop this one cooldown, and keep bursting for longer, and it's really fun. It is really fun to me. You can also get 2 Covenant abilities at the same time, which is freaking amazing. So, what about fire? Fire's that really weird spec, right? Because I was testing it on a testing dummy, and of course, the testing dummy doesn't go below 90%, so I was critting all the time. And I'm like, okay, well, I need to take it over here. It did play a little slower, but again, it's one of the specs that even while I was playing slower, I like it. I like that feeling of, okay, I've got a Pyroblast proc, and I've got Hot Streak. 2 big Pyroblasts going right off. It's awesome. And then I was also looking at some of the Mythic Plus, and like, if I do end up going mage, and I do end up going into this particular dungeon on this particular boss, I'm going to be doing insane damage, and I'm going to be playing super fast. Right? Because the idea is, okay, Scorch takes over fucking Fireball once you get within execute range. Well, Fireball has a guaranteed chance to crit above a certain percentage of health. There's a boss in one of the Mythic Plus dungeons for Dragonflight Season 1 where they're above 90% health. I think the fight ends when they're at 80 or 90. I can't remember. All I remember is you're going to be hitting them really hard. This is like when you were playing a warrior with execute on Eye of Ajara when you were fighting Ajara's Pride or something. I can't remember what it was. But I like it. Frost, they've kind of messed with Frost a little bit, but it's not in a negative way for me, along with the fact that we now just have the hold to keep casting button coming in. I'm fine with that. So mage, especially with the fact that you can be a tailor and an enchanter, is going to be one of the main things. Also, for my monk, I'm probably going to pick up enchanting at the beginning. Like after I dump mining, I'm going to have enchanting so I can disenchant all that gear that I got while leveling up, disenchant all that gear I don't need now, and then go in and be like, hey, guild bank, here's all the enchanting materials, make me good shit. And that's the thing with my mage. I'm going to have that ability to be a tailor, to craft a good set of gear right off the bat, because I'm going to have all of that cloth from my monk along with my mage. I'll be able to have her start off at relatively an okay level. Then I'm going to have Peter Dinklage making their shit. Or I'm changing the name back to Zan. I don't care. So it will work out fine. Now I will have all of these classes up to level 60. I did finally get my priest to level 30, thanks to Winds of Wisdom and all of the wonderfulness that is instant Qs as a healer. When you only have 3 healing spells, but then you run into the problem with people knowing how to do a boss that's over 10 years old. It hurt my soul, but we did it, and we're fine, and everything's okay. And it looks like our transmog reverted. So, yeah, I've got plenty of plans for the priest. I've also got plenty of plans for my Death Knight and my Paladin. I even kind of have plans for an Evoker. I want to have all of these characters at level cap. And in 3 weeks, I'll be able to, because we don't get Chromie time leveling tomorrow, which is stupid. We don't get the level revamp. So I can't start leveling these guys until 2 weeks before launch. And that's insane. I don't get it, but that's fine. I also did apply to be a caster for a certain Race to World First thing. I don't think I'm going to get it, but I do really enjoy the performance of it all, right, man? Because in that video, I'm like, okay, and there we go. Oh, and it misses, and here's this mechanic, and this mechanic is very important. It's very different from the other difficulties in this sense, but meh. So I kind of just, I have my mage ready there. I've got my monk ready there. You might be like, well, why aren't you a leather worker? Simply because I know that I'm going to have guildmates that can do that stuff, and if I have to provide them with materials, which I probably will, because of how stuff in Dragonflight works, then I'll provide them with materials. I'll get the stuff that I need. I did do some raid testing via normal mode. I did not raid test LFR. I did not feel like raid testing LFR. The raid's going to be fine. I really do like the fact that we're getting Droop Loot, like, kind of at the end for Shadowlands, which is really dumb. But, hey, whatever. The fact that Faded is going to affect all 3 raids starting tomorrow is actually really good, because then I can use my mage, and I can enjoy the wonderfulness of just getting a dinar once a week and just being, or no, actually 1 for the first week and then 2 in the next week, so it really only takes 2 weeks, and I can do that with kind of all my characters. I don't really want to. If it's good transmog from a weapon, I might do it. Like my paladin, I might do my paladin weapon from Kel'Thuzad just because it looks so good for a DK. But overall, that's fine. There has been some other stuff happening in terms of the wonderfulness with creators. However, again, this isn't really a video where it's like, hey, I'm going to go over everything that's happened in the last month. This is basically where I'm at. I'm going to play my monk. I'm going to then play my mage. I've got the leveling planned out. I've got my meal planned out. I've got my week planned out. We are 1 month, or 1 month and a half a week from Dragonflight. I'm ready for it. People are saying it's rushed, it's not ready. We'll find out. There's only so much that we can do with the devs. The devs do seem to be listening a little bit more now than they were in the beginning. Cat, what are you planning? That's all I can really say. I'm ready for tomorrow in the pre-patch hits. A lot of people are like, oh, copy your strength from the PTR or beta. And other people are like, no, that's just a lot of extra work. 3 button presses. It's like, in my stance on that is, I'm not going to do it. Not because it's extra work, but because if you spent 5 seconds on the PTR and the beta, and you tried to do that between the PTR and the beta, you will see that there's a ton of bugs in swapping over talents and swapping over UI changes. I'm just going to do it on the day of launch. That's it. I'm going to do it on the day of launch, and I'm going to be happy with it. Are there some things that I can't do with the base new UI that I could do with other add-ons? Yeah, but guess what? I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to have an add-on just so I can make my mini-map a little bit smaller, okay? I've got a pretty good UI planned just from the beta, and I'm okay with it. There's a lot of cool stuff that you can do with that UI, and I'm set. I don't care. I'm ready for it. I'm ready to just have the stuff done, start working on that pre-patch. And really quick note, if any of you do have materials like leather or herbs or ore or fish or anything like that, get rid of them now. Like, literally, if you have to, just vendor them. Just vendor them. As of tomorrow, they are going to be completely useless for 99% of things. Right? It's not going to be worth it. So I will happily talk to you guys later. Probably do some stuff after the pre-patch. Go over how to make the best UI and just have a little bit of fun. I'm ready to have fun, man. I've had a busy freaking couple months. I haven't been playing WoW a lot outside of the raids. And dungeon nights with my group. So I will happily hit you guys up probably tomorrow or later this week. I do have some other stuff that I also have to do outside of World of Warcraft, but not outside of the gaming sphere. Maybe a little bit of that. Maybe I'm writing for something.